Inamamoane,
Alamanahea
inakaamo'ona,
Walea
inaa'i,
Anoma
onoko'amo'e.
Weo. Hello, beautiful hearts, and welcome back to Two Open Hearts. I'm Carissa,
And I'm SuSun.
and today we are going to give you 5 ways that you can neutralize heaviness and get yourself centered, especially if things are making you all frazzled.
Yes, we're going to have some pretty intense energies coming with the solar eclipse that's happening. So we have some things that we hope will help you.
Yep. So this is a timeless video, and these 5 things will be amazing at any time. But like SuSun said, there is an eclipse happening on December 14th, a solar eclipse. And so they'll especially be helpful then because eclipses like to shake up all of our stuff. They're like full moons on steroids, I think, for me anyway.
I agree. I think that they are. They wreak all kind of energetic havoc.
Yes, they certainly can. And so I'm pretty sure we're not astrologists, but we both are familiar with certain aspects of astrology and we both know the importance of it and how it affects us, most importantly. So I believe that this is the last eclipse of 2020. They kind of started happening around June. That's when there was a beginning to a bunch of cycles we've gone through. And I believe that this one happening on December 14th is kind of closing up all that's been going on for us for the last 6 months. So it's going to be kind of a powerful closure. And SuSun was going to read a little bit about the eclipse.
Yes, I wanted to just read a little bit about a solar eclipse meaning. Solar eclipse is just like a regular new moon, where the moon passes between the earth and the sun. However, a solar eclipse is more powerful because the moon darkens the sun. The strongest and most important aspect of astrology is sun conjunct moon. It means all possibilities are on the table and you can rightly put yourself at the forefront of new plans for the future. This is an ideal time to make a fresh start. So write your goals down on paper and question your old habits and behaviors as you search for new and inventive ways to make progress going forward.
So that makes a lot of sense with what my interpretation was of it being a closure too, because when you are wrapping up a cycle, it's important to make time for the closure, allow it to finish, allow the cycle to come to a close. But it's also really important to focus on those new goals, to focus on where you're headed next, to focus on the positives coming into your life and just where you want to take your adventure.
Yes, it's going to be, I think it's going to bring so many wonderful things. There is usually some more shadow work and things that we need to get to move along, things we need to release so that we can move into our brighter futures. But I do believe it's going to be a bright future ahead for us all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I wanted to mention if any of you are in Chile or Argentina, you actually can see the solar eclipse. It's visible there, but not here in North America where we're at. So it's poo poo for us. But
I know. I wish that we were in a place where we could also view it.
yeah, SuSun and I were able to see one a couple of years ago, and it was really freaking amazing.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I understood after seeing it why people will chase them all over the world. It's an incredible, incredible thing to see, to
Yep.
experience.
So if you're ever only a few hours away, make the drive. It's so worth it. And we'll let you guys know when the next North American one is coming because we'll probably be like road tripping somewhere for that. I believe there's one happening in Texas in 2024 is what I'm pretty sure is the next one you can see here. So I'm already like making plans. I have a friend in Texas, so I'm going to call her up and be like, "Can I reserve staying at your house for this time?"
That's it. Well, we'll be headed to Texas then. It's too incredible to miss. If it's possible at all, you don't want to miss it.
Yep. Now, when it happens and we don't get to see it, we just get to feel the weight of it. Like SuSun was saying, it's not like the eclipse itself is so heavy. It's just that it's working to bring up all the things that you need to release to move forward on your highest path. And releasing things isn't always fun. It's always amazing when you're done releasing things. It's always fantastic. You feel so much better, but the process can get you down. So that's why we've got these 5 steps. They're things that we do regularly when we remember, when we want to feel good. They're things we do to keep our energy up and to stay in a good place.
Yeah. We have some pretty good techniques that have helped us greatly in order to just get things moving on. And as Carissa said, it's not always the funnest going through it, but it certainly does feel good once you're able to release it.
Mm-hmm. So our step or tip number 1 is grounding. And this one, a lot of people know, and they know techniques of it, and I know it. And I'm a pretty grounded individual, so I don't always think of it. But if I'm ever starting to get frazzled, if I take the time to connect to earth, it will help me feel better every time. So, and if you're someone who flies a lot, then grounding and learning to be grounded and using your spiritual gifts or being grounded just in your everyday can really bring amazing things to your life, because we're here in these human bodies to be here on earth. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So it's important to ground.
Yes. I think that we do our best work here when we are grounded. I didn't always realize that, but it does help everyone to be able to help us when we remain grounded and when we can stay connected to Gaia, to Mama.
Mm-hmm. And on like a higher spiritual, at least hypothesis I have, is like, I believe that we came here in human form so that we could anchor in some of these star energies, some of these higher vibrational energies to earth now. But the body is the part that anchors us here. So the more grounded the body is, the deeper we can anchor those other amazing energies coming in. At least that's my hypothesis.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think you're right
Drink
there.
some water. Okay. So the first thing then is I wanted to walk you guys through just, it's like a quick 1 or 2 minute visualization of how we ground. There are many techniques, and if this one doesn't fit you, again, go look for some, because I like to say that there's a million different ways to do most of these things, and you just got to find the one that fits you. So you can walk outside barefoot, you can do other meditations, you can just meditate without any visualizations, just quiet your mind. You can hug a tree, you can sit by a tree. There's a bunch of great ways. I'm lazy and it's winter, and so I'm less likely to go hug trees in the snow. I'm a summer girl, in the summer, I'm a lot more likely to do that. But for me personally, this visualization helps a lot because I can just connect with my mind. And if I breathe into it long enough, my body connects too. Okay, so I want everyone to start with 3 deep breaths, because it just always centers you a little bit to take 3 deep breaths. Okay. Now, whether you're familiar with the chakras or not, I'll kind of walk you through the colors. So what I like to do is imagine the very top of my head. That's where the crown chakra is, and it's typically a purple. So I imagine the purple color swirling there, and I see it spinning around, and I draw some of that purple downwards through the center of my being towards where my third eye is, but keeping in the center pathway. So I draw the purple downwards towards the center of the third eye, which is an indigo, which is just like a blue purple, a really deep purpley blue. And I draw the purpley blue and the purple downwards towards my throat, where I gather up some of the blue of the throat chakra. And then I take those purples and blues and I draw them downwards to my heart space. And you can just see your head lighting up in these, these purples and blues of all shades. And you get to your heart space and you collect some of the greens and sometimes pinks that live there. There may be other colors for you as well. So whatever you see, just gather them up. And you bring those downwards towards right below your rib cage. You have your solar plexus, which is typically bright yellows, sometimes some golds. So bring your blues and purples and greens to mix with your yellows. Bring them down to your belly button area, your navel, which is where you have your sacral chakra. It is typically in the orange range. Mix your blues and purples and greens and yellows with your orange. And finally, bring them down to your root chakra, which is where your tailbone is, right at your base. And it is typically reds. So now you have the full spectrum of the rainbow, from purples to reds and all in between. And you want to take this and you want to send a rainbow down each one of your legs, all the way down your thighs, past your knees, down into your feet and ankles. And you want to begin to send this rainbow into the crust of Mother Earth. And as it leaves my feet, it normally combines again to be one rainbow for me. And then this rainbow moves down through all the layers of the earth. So you can move it through rock and sand and clay and maybe water, maybe down through some magma layers until you get to the very center of Mother Earth. And we like to see the very center as a giant sparkling crystal. It's Mother Earth's crystalline heart. And so we'll take our rainbow and we'll wrap it around the crystal like a big hug, and we kind of attach it, and you'll feel it like if you imagine putting two magnets together when they kind of slap. You know, as soon as you intend to connect your rainbow to the crystal, you feel it magnetize where it's on there. And at that point, you may begin to feel Mother Earth sending her energy back up around your rainbow. So it can twirl around or it can go right inside of your rainbow. And it comes up through all the layers of the earth, all the crust, all of the rock, the sand, until Mother Earth's energy reaches your feet. And then it begins to move through your body. And as it moves through your energetic pathways, it goes throughout all of your body, moving upwards past your knees, your thighs, back to your root, upwards through your spine, all the way up past your heart, back to your neck, through your head, and out the top, the very top of your head. This beautiful earth and energy starts to like make a fountain with some of your rainbow energy. So now you're this beautiful earth energy fountain, and that's filling up your aura, and that is also going to exude this loving earth energy outside of you. So the more you ground, the more you can share this loving earth energy with those around you as well. Once you feel like your aura is full and shiny, then you can bring yourself back to the present moment, focusing on your body and just wiggling and opening your eyes. So that's one thing I know about, but don't always take the few minutes to do it. And you can do it even a little faster than we just went through it now. You can just be like, rainbow, 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 you know, because it's that when the rainbow wraps around the crystalline core and connects, that's really when the grounding magic happens.
Yes, that was really beautiful. And I apologize to everyone for interrupting with that cough of mine.
It happens. Got to cough up stuff. Coughing can be a symptom of just releasing stuff. So as you ground, you release. So that's a pretty normal thing too.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so that was technique or tip number 1. Our next tip involves calling on some of our team. SuSun and I both work really closely with Archangel Michael, and he's been one of my guides before I even awakened into spirituality stuff. Like he was there. I did go to the BMS fair one year, and I picked a reader that felt good. And he was like, have you heard of Archangel Michael? Because he wants to work with you. And he gave me this list of ways to work with him. And I did it for a while, and then I quit for a while. But once we really opened back up and connected to our spirituality, I was like, oh man, he's been there the whole time.
Yeah, Yes, he is with us all the time. He
And he's
just
not
does
just
amazing
with us.
things.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. Yes, and he is not only just with us, he is with everyone.
Mm-hmm. Isn't he? He's like the angel of protection, the angel of.
Yes, and I believe that he also helps us with any mechanical type things.
Mm-hmm.
If you are having trouble with your car, with um, I'm drawing
The
a blank as
computers,
to,
the
yeah,
technology. Well, yeah, some
well,
of that, but
no,
more, you're right, more mechanics. So
more
things that
mechanics.
spin. But he's also multifaceted and he's here to support. He's just got this giant heart. And he also has a sword to kick ass, but he's this giant heart. And he's here to support everybody, every human on earth and other beings as well, I'm sure, because he's so awesome.
Yes, he is very awesome.
And I have a picture. We have some oracle decks that we really like. And so one of the decks we like is this one called Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray. And in it, he has an Archangel Michael card. So I'm going to show everybody, hopefully.
Beautiful.
So this is an idea. This is one human depiction of what he could look like. He may appear slightly differently to you, but I like this one. You can feel the good energy coming off it. And so we like to call him to help us cut cords, all kinds of cords. So that's tip number 2. If you don't feel comfortable working with Archangel Michael, you can call on any of your team or your guides. I mean, you can call on dragons, you can call on fairies. Many of them have different techniques to help you remove cords. I just like working with Archangel Michael because that's the one I started working with first for this purpose. So he's been awesome the whole time.
Yes, I also was introduced to Archangel Michael with cutting cords. I believe it is just one of his specialties to release you from the cords and the hooks that happen in your day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm. So one of the ways that I call him in is, if you've watched previous videos of us or you've ever worked with SuSun and I, you know we always call in beings of the highest vibration of unconditional love because that's who we work with. And I make sure that I use my human right of speech and of declaration to make sure that I always get what I want. So I would do something like this. Archangel Michael, I call you in working with the highest vibration of unconditional love to help me today. Please remove any cords that have been attached to me by any other person, because sometimes people, if they're jealous or if they're angry or if there's all sorts of things, there's all sorts of ways, or they're thinking about you and they miss you. Sometimes people will accidentally, without knowing it, send an energetic cord that connects you to that person and it can weigh you down. Now, that's not all the time, but it can happen and you can always clear those. So that's what I would ask Archangel Michael to do is please cut away any cords, use your light to dissolve any hooks, remove anything that's not serving me around my body, front, side, back, other side, feet, top of the head. Don't forget the around.
One place that I like to ask Archangel Michael to come in and do that is when I am showering. I think that it is so powerful with the water, with the addition of the water. And I call him in to cut cords at that time. And it always feels really powerful to me.
Yes, and Archangel Michael is so amazing. He can help in other ways besides just cords that other people attach to you.
Yes, he can help also with cords of fear that we may be experiencing. And it's just beautiful. He comes and helps and gets those cords cut and
Mm-hmm.
allows us to move forward and to do our best.
Yes. And as he cuts the cords of fear you have, you can also ask him to help restore your faith in yourself, in source and universe. He can also help you fill back up with faith. So after you have him cut all those cords, you can be like, and please cut any cords of fear from me in any capacity and any lower vibrational cords that I don't need to carry anymore. And please refill me with faith. Fill me up with faith in myself. Fill me up with faith in source. Just fill me up.
Yes, and it's beautiful feeling when they do fill you back up, when Michael or any of the angels All that you need to do is ask, and they will.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that is another big tip is call on your team, call on the ones you know, and make sure that you don't have a lot of cords, because when other people do have cords on you, it can just, you can sometimes almost at least I can sometimes empath the sadness coming through if they miss me or if they're angry or something. So it's not so much that they've corded me and they're inhibiting my life, but I can feel that energy. And if I don't pinpoint where it's coming from in the past, I've sometimes mistaken it as my own. And so that's why it's so important to clear them, because it's not my own, it's not mine. So practicing, is this mine? Is this not mine? Is another good thing.
Yes, that's a very good thing to always be checking in with yourself about, because you do need to know, especially the empaths out there. We need to check in whether it is belongs to us or belongs to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very helpful in eliminating a lot of that with cutting the cords.
Yep, just nips it in the butt. There'll be no energy drain. There'll be no empathing stuff that's not yours. You're just getting a clean slate.
Yep, that's it.
So after doing that, tip tool number 3 would be calling. We work a lot with the angels. So this is another angel one. And this one we read about in Belinda Womack's book. And I don't know the title of the book, but I own it. I think you own it.
I own it, and I can't recall
Let me look
specifically the
over
title of the
here.
book.
Why don't you tell them about it and I'll go look over here so I can try to show it. And if not, we'll try to link it in the description.
Yeah, it's something similar to Messages from the Archangel, the 12 Archangels. And what it is the archangels had let her know that we all have a violet bubble right above our heads. And at um, any time that we have anything that we are struggling with or that we need to release, all that we need to do is ask the archangels to take that and or we can actually even physically lift it and put it into the violet bubble that's right above our heads and ask the archangels to take it and transmute it into pure love. And they are more than happy to do so. All they need is for us to ask. And there's the book.
Sorry about my bonking the microphone, everybody. Yes, this is a nice book. It's got a lot of beautiful knowledge, but by far the thing we use the most is the violet flame bubble. So, and I like to say, because in other ways during our Reiki practice, besides just the bubble, besides handing stuff up into the bubble, which is always there, like SuSun was saying, everybody has one. The angels have gifted us all ways to transmute heaviness and get rid of our junk. But they can also take a more active role. So if you have junk that you're having trouble moving, like you're ready to get rid of it, and you just can't seem to like put it in there. In our Reiki sessions, we have found that you can ask the angels to like remove it, like if they have a big angelic vacuum, right? I now make jokes and I might make t-shirts eventually about the angels and their hoovers, because you can be like, angels, hoover this stuff out of here. So they just stick the vacuum tube down and then just suck out the heaviness that you don't want anymore. And they can only do that if you ask, because you have free will and you have to ask your team. But they can come in and ask. And there was another one, we kind of were able at some point, I think, to get the violet flame bubble to just move down through our body and neutralize crap for us and then go back up above our heads.
Yes, that one as well. I think probably the method that I use the absolute most is the vacuum. I do ask them to come in and just come in with their Hoover and just get it all out.
Yep. Especially if you kind of know the area, or if it's even if you don't know what the topic is, if you're like, there's heaviness on my heart. So hoover out everything you can. And if there's something I need to be aware of, if there's some part I need to know that you can't just hoover, then help me figure it out. Help me figure out what I need to be aware of so we can let it go.
Yeah, sometimes I actually just ask them to remove it from every cell, every atom, and every space in between in my body. Just especially if I'm having difficulty, I just ask them to just go through and get it all. And they do it. And it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling to be hoovered by the angels.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, you get a lot cleaner. And then you can ask them when they're done hoovering, when they've done the vacuum job, right? You can be like, now fill everything back up with unconditional love. If there's any
Yes.
spaces or openings that are, now empty, vacant because you hoovered out all the crud, just put unconditional love back in there and maybe repair it. So, because in some of our chakras, if we have like gunk and we have a lot of trauma, it can kind of almost eat away outside of the boundaries of where it should belong. So once they clean it out, you have to ask them to help you repair it so it goes back to the proper size, so it doesn't just fill up with crap again. You want everything to be
Yes.
repaired back to your pretty much like your God-given perfection condition, something like that.
Yes.
My divine perfection.
Yes. Back
Restore
to
it
divine
back.
perfection.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to set this book down now. It's in my way. Okay. All right. So that was tip number 3, I believe. I have like my little paper over here. Yep. So yeah, violet flame bubble every day. Every day. Ugh. Put that in the bubble. Ugh. Ew, get rid of this. It goes in the bubble. Sadness in the bubble. Whatever in the bubble.
Yes. Every
Heaviness.
day.
Self-doubt in the bubble. Just put it in the bubble or get those vacuums going. Angels and their hoovers.
Yes.
They're probably like, oh Lord, these women are now teaching other people to ask for the hoover.
Yeah.
Because they kind of make fun of us a lot because we're like, hoovers, please. They roll their eyes lovingly, very lovingly.
Yes, very lovingly. But it's so effective. It's so
Mhm.
effective that it's uh it's a pleasure to actually ask him to do it.
Mhm. So tip number 4, we have brought in and connected with an energy that we call the white light of Lumeria. And it is freaking beautiful. And we use it a lot. And you don't have to be attuned to this energy to call on it. It's got a consciousness. It can be called into your life, even if you don't, like I said, have an attunement. If you want to get attuned, we also have a video where we just taught the class live on YouTube, or I think we taught it live on Facebook and transferred it over. So if you want to review that, I will put that link in as well. You can watch the whole class and get your attunement to the white light of Lemuria. But even if you don't have that, you can call it in, and it's the most heartfelt, beautiful energy. And I liken it, those of you who work with selenite, it's not an energetic representation, but the selenite is the crystal that imbues the best energy connected to the white light. Like it would work really well together because it's so pure, so pure.
Yes.
And
And
the unicorns also work with it, the dragons as well, but the unicorns are the guardians of it. So if you're connected to unicorns, you might want to go check that other video out.
yes, it's very soft, very, very lovely energy, but very powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful in that like most caring mama way. So like if you like really got hurt when you were a kid outside and mom just scooped you up into her arms and just held you, that's the kind of, it's powerful, but it's so heartfelt. It's not scrub them clean powerful. It is like that powerful that it can neutralize crap, but it feels just so loving. Some energies
Yes,
are like get it done and, feel good, but they're not always just so imbued with unconditional love as the white light is.
yes. It's so
Mhm.
soft and loving.
So, ways you can use it is since it is conscious, it does have a consciousness point, it's a sentient energy. So, you can say, white light of Lumeria, can you come fill this room? Can you come fill my home? Can you come fill me? And can you neutralize heaviness? Can you neutralize it's especially important to do it in your home regularly. A lot of people smudge. I occasionally smudge, but I a lot of times use energy to get right in there, because you can do that like every day. Even if you only have a minute, you could say white light of Lemuria, go through all my walls, go through all my furniture, make sure that they're not holding energies that aren't theirs, that they're not holding anything that's not serving them. Allow the lightness to enter. And we've been
Yes.
working with it in water form a lot. Do you want to talk about the waterfall?
Yes, the waterfall, the White Light of Lemuria waterfall, is the most cleansing, calming, beautiful place to put yourself. In different sessions that I have done, With Carissa, I put myself into under the waterfall, the white light of Lemuria waterfall, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it ever. So all of us can do that. You can put ourselves right under the waterfall, let it flow all around you, over you, through you. It's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah, you can visualize that one again flowing through every facet, every cell, every atom, and every space in between, and just releasing any heaviness as it goes. All the heaviness flows through you and then out, and then it's gone.
Yep. Leaving you very shiny.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And if you wanted to do that one in the shower, it also might be really great because you already have water and it can work in that same way. So you're kind of just juicing up your water with the white light of Lemuria, and make sure to thank the water and the white light of Lemuria if you do use it that way, because it's nice to give gratitude back.
Yes, we should all be blessing our water, the water that we bathe in, shower in, the water that we drink, the water that we prepare our food in, the rain, the snow. I actually have not thought about putting myself in the waterfall of white Lemurian light in the shower. The next shower I take, I am going to be doing that.
Nice.
I
I
think it'll
bet you'll
just
feel,
boost it.
yeah, I bet you'll feel even shinier for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Okay, so all these things, if you're having a frazzled day, I know the hardest part, if you're already frazzled or feeling uneasy or feeling stressed, is actually beginning, because you normally feel too crappy to like take a step. So when you feel that, if you can't ground first, call in like Archangel Michael first, like we talked about. Call somebody and call in your team and ask them to help you get to the next step. Because as I'm going through these, I'm like, yeah, this feels really great. But a lot of times if I'm really sad, I'm like not going to do this because I just don't even have the effort to do it. But
Yes.
just call them, or just say white light of Lemuria, just start pouring on me, even if I can't visualize it, even if I can't see you, just come in and help lighten my load. And then maybe an hour later, you'll be like, man, I think I'm feeling good enough now to go back and ground or to go do another thing. So calling them in to help is the most important thing.
Yeah. Actually, the calling the white light of Lemuria to come in and pour on you, even if you cannot visualize it at the moment, it is going to make a huge difference in your ability to proceed and call on someone else to come in as well to help.
Because it's something that's quick. You don't have to give it a lot of brain power. You just invite, you just welcome it in. And you can say white light of Lemuria of the highest vibration of love, if you feel like you need to say it that way. And then it will just come in and it will help. And you can, when you first ask, I like to ask with a time limit right out the bat. So I'll be like, white light of Lemuria, can you come in for an hour and just pour on me, or 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you feel like you need. Try to say that, because then it's consciousness too, and it will know to stop. It won't just endlessly be open. And if you don't say it that way and later you're like, man, I'm high, like my vibration's high, but I can't think and I can't focus and I feel all out of sorts, be like, oh, can you stop pouring on me now? Because if it keeps going for a long time, it might get you so high vibe that you can't function in the material world. So if you ever feel that way, make sure you've closed all your portals, make sure, and do the grounding so you can anchor it all back into the earth.
Yes. Yes, very important to close everything if you do forget to set a time limit where it will automatically close. I
Mm-hmm.
found that to be most helpful, just to actually ask it to automatically close after a certain time. But if you forget, it's never too late. Just close
Yep.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you'll be reminded if you forget.
Yes,
So
you will.
sometimes it's in the middle of the night. They're like, Carissa, you left a portal open somewhere else. And I'm like, oh, close. You can just do it in your mind like that. You can just close it. So even if you
Yes.
opened it in a different physical place, you can close it wherever you're at with that intention. So, like, I know.
Yes.
Okay, the fifth tip is, again, call in your team. And we have a very specific member of our team that we want to tell you about, that you can call in to help you. But really, any of the ones you work with, call them in for protection, call them in for groundedness, call them in to help remove your heaviness, call in your team of the highest vibration. Each person has from what I've heard, hundreds of thousands to millions of spirit team members, be it star beings, dragons, power animals, spirit guides, angels. We're powerhouses. We are fully supported, and they all have their hands tied unless we call them in. They can do a little bit here and there. They can guide us in their own way, but they can't come in and literally be like, let me help you with this heaviness, if we don't welcome them in to do that.
Yes, we do have to put out the invitation. We have to invite them to come in and give them permission to help us. And they're so happy. They're waiting for us to ask.
Mm-hmm. So the ones I wanted to talk about today are called the deep blue vibrational dragons. And I learned about them by reading Diana, sorry, Diana. I know your name. I'm just all flustered. Diana Cooper's Oracle card deck, and she has a book as well that goes with this. And you can tell how much I've used it because it's rubbed off, so you can't even see it. It says dragon. It's normally Dragon Oracle, but mine is gone. But we really started connecting with these deep blue vibrational dragons, and they also work with Archangel Michael, which is cool.
Yes. And they are powerhouses. They will go and clear homes and land, and in the blink of an eye, they love it. Whenever we call them in, you can feel the excitement, and they do amazing work.
Yeah, they're kind of like personal ambassadors for you. And you can not only call them into a place, and we call them into the schools, or to sometimes to like elderly homes, places where people can be vulnerable. You can call them to go clear out the energy. When I call in the white light of Lemuria to come through my house, I'll also call in the deep blue vibrational dragons of the highest vibration of love to come in and neutralize any heaviness that they find, that they see. I'll also, if I do it that way, if I'm trying to clear my whole house or my room or my, the jewelry, things within, I actually call on the white light of Lemuria, the deep blue vibrational dragons. I call on earth dragons as well to munch up any heaviness that might be below the earth, below the house. And the fire dragons, just because they are really good transmuters. So they just burn up what doesn't serve. So I'm just like, get my whole team in here and just go through every facet of this house and make sure there's no heaviness hanging out here.
Yes.
And the deep blue vibrational dragons too, it says in the Oracle deck, and we've been using this for like 2 years, so I can vouch for it. It works amazingly. Is you can ask them, you can invite them in to clear the heaviness, even emotional gook from others within a kilometer space from you. So it doesn't go into other people's personal fields, but it will keep you. Oh, I bonked the mic again. This is the episode of mic bonking. It will keep your energy protected and clear for a whole kilometer around you. So you don't even have to wade into the heaviness. It they just burn it away before you get there. And that can make a big difference, especially if you're sensitive to other energies.
Yes. And sometimes we all have environments maybe that we need to step into for work, or maybe it's personal, seeing family members. And sometimes we know that there's heaviness there. So it really helps for us to be able to go in and be at our best, to be protected, and to know that the lower level energies are just going to be removed from our immediate vicinity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's our divine right to be here in love and to be here in the good energies. And it makes a world of difference. And even if you don't know if you're sensitive to energies, call them in and see how you feel with them in protecting your space. Because you might realize that, hey, I'm more sensitive than I thought, because I feel way better now than I normally do.
Yes. And we all need to be at our best. And we all, the love that we have to share is going to be the highest when we don't have a lot of other negative energies right upon us. So it really helps us to be at our best and to do our best.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I can feel the blue vibrational dragons in here with me. So I'm just gonna like, yes, they feel great. Thank you for
I know.
coming.
I can kind of feel them vibrating, actually. They're like, yay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I'm going to recap our tips. Just you can maybe make a quick list to remember. You can always watch this video again if you need to. play it back to yourself. But we had grounding into Mother Earth, calling on Archangel Michael to help cut and release all cords, using the violet flame bubble and the angels with their Hoover vacuums to release heaviness that you carry. Working with the white light of Lemuria to totally cleanse spaces, homes, areas, and traumas, and using the waterfall to clear it from your field, to not clear because that's not always permanent. They neutralize it, they get it transmuted back to light.
Yes.
And then working with your team, especially if you feel like calling in the deep blue vibrational dragons or any other beings, but they are my jam for helping me, my space be my personal space, like my energy bubble, keeping it in a beautiful way all day, no matter where I go. And I invite them in every day. You have to do it every day.
Yes. It's in the world we live in today. It's most needed to invite them in every day.
Yep. And we have one bonus tip. So, you guys get a bonus because we had 6, but 5 is so much better to say. And this one's a little shorter, so it's a bonus. So if you can't tell yet, we're empaths because I'm always telling you how I'm feeling the energy of this or that, or feeling, depression from lost souls, feeling the energy of an environment. If I were to teach a class or do something really high vibe where I really open up, work with a client or something where I'm really connected to all my gifts, if I try to go to like a store after that, I am toast. I am dead because I've opened everything up and then I'm feeling everything, every sadness, every like worker who doesn't want to be there. So I've learned very carefully, just don't shop or go anywhere after I've done something, make sure I'm grounded, make sure I close everything back up to a reasonable level for going out. But another thing that has made a world of difference, because not only are we empaths, we're healers. We want to heal. And a lot of people, even if you're not in a profession as a healer, you want to help people. You are helpful. You've got golden hearts and you want to help people. And sometimes when you are that kind of person, without meaning to, you can take on other people's woes and heaviness and junk because you want to help. And I know that because my kids were doing that. They would go to school and they'd come back so heavy. And if you do that long enough, sometimes you can get physically ill. You can just get sick.
Yes, it does make it can cause you to be sick when you're not protecting yourself. It's amazing. I had to actually learn it the hard way because I also was making myself sick because I was not putting up the protection to stop myself from taking things on.
And she was taking stuff on to help others she loved. Like it was when my kids took on heaviness, they got sick, and then she got sick trying to like subconsciously take on, take it away from them. So it's just this row of people trying to help each other, but really not doing it in a way that was helpful. And none of us really understood it originally. So that's why we're telling you now, in case you found yourself in this position. One way to make sure you don't subconsciously take other stuff trying to help them is to state it. So we have like a little script that we say every day. And it goes something like, I do not consent to take on anybody's energy, period. Anybody's attachments. I mean, these things you can add as bonuses. But if you just say, I do not consent to take on anybody's energy, that's the most important part. But then sometimes I'll say burdens, karma, attachments, illnesses, emotional traumas. You can add if there's something you particularly want to avoid that day, or you're going to see someone who's got a lot of it. You can say, I do not consent to take on that. And I do not consent to give my own energy away because they don't need your own energy anyway. That's not going to help them, right? I do not consent to give my own energy away. What I do consent to do is channel universal love and light through me to help others.
Yes. Yes, and you can, searching for the word, you can customize that to fit your own needs, what you're going to be involved in. A lot of times I do not consent to accept or take on anyone's fear or anger, especially if you're going to be out driving or going into the stores. But it really is amazing. It works. I had no idea that I was actually doing that for my grandsons. And when I realized that subconsciously, that is what I was doing. We have all been healthy and not had any problems since we started doing the script and not consenting to taking that on any further. So it really is an important thing to do if you find yourself being sick a lot, being unhappy. Um, it might be that you're just taking on others' burdens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's we had a session for Zaid when he was doing that, and they said it's like he's a sponge, but he's soaking up, tar from everybody else. So he's got holes and he's filled with this crud. And now, and that was a few years ago, he was like pretty young. So that's the thing, with your kids, they don't know
Yes.
how to vocalize that. He had no idea what he was doing. This was years ago.
Yeah.
But I worked with him to tell him, we can't help people when we just try to take their heaviness. It's like he was trying to share the burden, right? He sees these kids at school. I don't know what their home life is. Some of them had crap. They were heavy. They were sad. And he was like, we'll just share this burden and then they'll be better. But it didn't work that way because you can't take other people's energies and make it better. And you can't give them your own and make it better. You can attempt to shine. You can work with your gifts and you can allow universal love to flow through you to help people. And I mean, by saying it that every day, I like to think and hope that I am a hollow bone and that the energy does flow through and help those who need it. And I can obviously direct it to help those who are specifically asking for it and really needing it strongly. I can then call in even more energies. But even when I'm not trying, I think it still comes through and helps people under the law of grace in different ways.
I believe that it does. I believe that really the only way that we can help others is to keep ourselves protected, keep ourselves filled with love, and then the love we will have enough to overflow and direct to others to help them. Because yes, taking on their burdens does not help them. Sharing our love and shining our light and prayers will help others.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. Shine your light, share your love. That's what we want. Think of the world if everyone started trying, even if they had traumas, even if they had blockages, because we're human, so we carry all kinds of crap. But if
Yes, we
everyone
do.
really started making an effort to share their love, but also take care of themselves, think of the world we could live in.
Yes, it would be just so bright and shiny and beautiful. But we're
Hmm.
headed there. We're headed there.
Yes, we are. We just got to get through, more eclipses, more things first. So hopefully what you've learned today will help you if you're feeling down and will help you navigate and surf through any of the energies that are coming up here that might be something you got to practice surfing through. They might have their ups and downs, but you'll be able to just sail through with some of these beautiful techniques.
Yes, it's always good to have tools in your toolbox to help you to navigate the things that we're going through in this world today.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, if you have enjoyed these tips and tools, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And then you'll be able, if you want to get notifications, you can click the notification bell. So that way, when we bring more of this juicy, amazing tool details to you, you can see it right away and you won't miss out. We love you, beautiful hearts. We are so happy you're here and that you've joined us.
Yes, thank you for joining us today.